So, well, this weekend we have some crucial World Cup qualifying game in the CONCACAF region, and I'm pretty sure U.S. men's national team fans are basically exhaling right now before they will be holding their breath for 90 minutes in that must-win game against Panama on Sunday. People forget that we do have some MLS game that is going to be happening during the international break, and like it or not, it is what it is. And at least the good news about MLS games that's going to be happening into international break is that there actually isn't going to be a lot. There's only going to be 3 that's going to be happening during this international break. 2 of them is going to be happening tomorrow, and 1 of them is going to be happening on Sunday. And what's interesting is that all 3 of these games are not going to be on ESPN Plus, but unfortunately, tomorrow game, both of them is going to be on Twitter, which, yeah, I am definitely not looking forward to that. But at least the game on Sunday is going to be on ESPN, and that, the game on Sunday, this is pretty much kind of like the appetizer before the main event when the U.S. take on Panama. Or maybe nobody will watch this game because maybe people are just too nervous about that game between the U.S. and Panama that, yeah, we're not going to watch any soccer before we're really going to hold our breath for 90 minutes and just pray that the U.S. will get the job done and get all 3 points against Panama on Sunday. But that being said, let us actually get into the first of the 3 games that's happening in the international break, and that, of course, is the Queen City Derby between Charlotte FC versus FC Cincinnati. By the way, I don't know if that's the official name of this rivalry, but, you gotta say it is the Queen City Derby with the way that both of these teams play in this city that is dubbed the Queen City, and I guess whoever wins that does get that bragging rights that they get to be called the true Queen City of the U.S. But yeah, this also is the first time that both Charlotte and FC Cincinnati is meeting against each other, as this game will start at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, but the actual kickoff is 5:08 p.m. local time. And as I mentioned, unfortunately, this game alongside with the next one is going to be on Twitter or on 2DN if you can, of course, understand Spanish. But for Charlotte, they got a historic first win last week against New England to improve their record to 1-0-3, while FC Cincinnati, after a disastrous start in their first 2 games of the season, they have definitely rebounded by getting back-to-back wins and are looking to try to make it 3 wins in a row, which I don't think they have ever won 3 wins in a row in their franchise history. I mean, I know they have won back-to-back games before, but I don't think they ever have gone 3 wins in a row, and they definitely has a chance to do so because, for Charlotte, as much as I know they're going to have a lot of good feelings after finally getting their first win in their club history and kind of get that monkey off the back. When you look at some of the players that is going to be missing for this game because of international call-up, yeah, there are some big names. You got Alan Franco, who is going to be missing this game for Ecuador, Christian Mahun going to Venezuela, but probably the biggest name is Karol Stradecki, not available in this game because he has joined Poland in their World Cup qualifying game, and that is a huge loss for the Charlotte team because Karol Stradecki was really the main reason why they were able to get that win against New England in the last game, and to not have him, which is really the right now kind of the only good goal scoring that they have for this team. Yeah, this could be a struggle against an FC Cincinnati team that I feel like this FC Cincinnati team, they are tired of the butts of the joke and the fact that they finally, maybe for the first time in their franchise history, can actually have some good things to talk about their team, which, I think Cincinnati fans definitely deserve that with the way that they've gone through so much misery to see their team losing almost every single week for 3 years in a row. Now, they do miss an important player on their attack too, but they miss Roland Matarrita, who's going to be going to Costa Rica. Though, again, even though he was a player that contributed one of the assists against Inter Miami in the last one, I don't think this is going to be as bad of a loss as I talked about Stradecki missing in this game for Charlotte. But yeah, this should be a very interesting matchup, and that, 2 teams that I'm pretty sure there's been comparison that both of them are kind of very similar with the way that, how Cincinnati, when they got off to the expansion year and how much of a disaster it is, and people are saying kind of the same thing about Charlotte. It's going to be interesting to see when both of these teams does face off against each other, and who, of course, will win this Queen City Derby, and again, might be dubbed as the true Queen City of the U.S. But now, moving on, we got Sporting KC taking on RSL. That will be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, but the actual kickoff is 6:08 p.m. local time. And this is definitely going to be a very good game, because anytime when Sporting KC take on RSL, you know that that rivalry between both of these teams is real. And especially last season, we saw the drama that happened on decision day, and also in the playoffs too, in the second round of the playoffs, where RSL once again pull off a stunner by upsetting Sporting KC in this one. And coming into this game, I mean, it feels like it's been RSL still are the one that is having the good feeling coming out of last season Western Conference run compared to Sporting KC, because unexpectedly RSL have started the season 3-1-0, and there were a time last week where they actually hold up to the top spot of the Western Conference before LAFC, of course, passed them again on Sunday. But nobody expected that. This is one of the 6 teams remaining in MLS to be being considered. The squad that they had, a lot of people had doubts that, that Western Conference final run was just kind of a fluke, and right now early on they're proving that it's not actually a fluke. Whereas for Sporting KC, I mean, it's definitely been a rough start for Peter Vermeer's team, and a lot of that has to do with injuries, of the fact that not only they're going to be missing Polito for the rest of the season, but early on, they also have missed some key attacker in Johnny Russell and Daniel Sharawi. I think in the last game, neither of them actually play in that game, which hence that's why they kind of look terrible going forward on the attack, because I talk about how those are really the 2 players that really need to step up and be the catalyst on the attack this season. And again, it's no surprise that when they weren't available, yeah, Sporting KC pretty almost had no chance going for on the attack. And I think in that game they also didn't had Kyrie Shelton in that one, and Shelton is also a guy that can provide a spark on the attack. So yeah, they were basically crippled in that game against the Chicago Fire. But that being said, besides the fact that there's been injury on the attack, they also have not been able to get any contribution from the depth that they have, which is not a big surprise, because I thought the depth of this attack was a big problem. And not to mention the defense so far in the beginning of the season has been pretty awful. I mean, it's not just the defense that has been bad, but even their goalkeeper Tim Melia, who last season, I think the reason why Sporting KC did at least finish respectable in terms of their amount of goals that they conceded, is because Tim Melia kind of bailed them out. But after that disastrous game against the Chicago Fire, we'll see whether or not if he can, of course, bounce back in this game against a very confident RSL team. And that if RSL can get a win in this one and do the same thing that they did in the playoffs and also on decision day last season, yeah, they definitely sent a message that they are for real. I mean, I feel like when you look at this team, I already started to kind of have a feeling that they are for real and that they can definitely keep it up. Though I know there's definitely some doubter that maybe this is just one of those sequences when the team goes off to a good start and then eventually they of course find out. No, I think RSL is definitely a team that we need to of course talk about, and they'll definitely be talked about if they do get a win in this one. Now, as I mentioned, in terms of the international call-up, there's really not a lot of players missing in this game. For Sporting KC, they will not have Mariano Nonis, who is going to be going to Cyprus, while for RSL, they won't have Justin Miram in this game, who joined the Iraq national team as part of the Asia World Cup qualifier. Now, moving on into the last game, we got the Portland Timbers taking on the Orlando City, and as I said, this is pretty much the appetizer before the main event between the U.S. and Panama in a game that could really decide the fate of whether or not if the U.S. could make it to the World Cup in Qatar, or that they're going to have to wait until they play that crucial game against Costa Rica, and almost an impossible task to go down to Costa Rica and go down to San Jose to get a result to qualify for the World Cup. But in terms of this appetizer game, the Timbers have a 1-2-1 record, while Orlando City have a 2-1-1 record. And this game will start at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, but the actual kickoff is 1:08 p.m. local time. And as I said, this game is going to be on ESPN. International co-op for the Portland Timbers, they're only going to miss Bill Tuiloma in this game, as he is going to be part of the New Zealand national team for this World Cup qualifying window. But for Orlando City, they do have some big pieces that they're going to be missing in this game. You have Pedro Galese not being available in this one, joining Peru for the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifier. You got Jetson Mendez also joining, or he is going to be going to Ecuador and also part of the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifier. And the same goes with Facundo Torres, who is going to be Uruguay as part of the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifier. And yeah, I mean, these are definitely big names that Orlando City is going to miss. And something tells me they're going to try to do the same thing they did against the Galaxy, which is, I guarantee that they're just going to park the bus throughout the whole game against the Portland Timbers. And, you know, normally when you do park the bus against the Timbers, you do actually really have a chance to get out of it with a result, because the Timbers, you know, I mentioned before, they're a team that is not known to break down a bunker. But from what we've seen in these past season, it seems like they started to finally figure it out. That, you know, for many time, especially I think during 2020, when teams are trying to kind of bunker against the Timbers just couldn't figure it out, because they were too one-dimensional and too rely on their bread and butter play, which is trying to go on the counter attack and hit teams on the transition. But recently, they have definitely done a better job in terms of it. And again, I think they're going to be overwhelmingly favorites in this game against an Orlando City team that I won't be surprised. They don't even think about attacking in this game. Like, they're just going to put 11 men behind the box in this one and hope to get a draw, or maybe steal all 3 points like they did against the Galaxy just a week ago. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys do a like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below what do you think of these 3 games, and as always, let me know in the comments below your prediction for all 3 of these games. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.